Welcome to Screen Chat, live from the Media Hub on rightradio.ca. I'm your host, Justin. And as you guys know, Screen Chat is your show all about the latest Marvel movies, DC Comics, Stars, adaptations, and much, much more. Today, I'm joined behind the scenes by Eldon, Carson, and Megan. Thank you guys so much for being here. And yeah, it's time to talk nonsense.
Say that again.
What? It's time to talk nonsense. That's what's going on. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm not... Are we streaming? Yeah, what are you doing, man?
Oh, we're talking nonsense. That was my cue.
Oh.
We gotta talk nonsense.
Well, welcome to the show today, the host of Talking Nonsense, my good friend, Carson Putnam. How you doing, bro?
Doing well. I'm doing now.
I think, I didn't really know what to do today for an episode. And then I was kind of just stuck. And now
we're chat about our screens.
Whoa, say that again?
We gotta chat about our screens.
Well, a little fairy might have prepared an episode for us to do today. And we're going to talk all about Pokemon. So here we go. I feel like this is one that we've had in the vault for a while. And why not just talk about different things today? So I think today we're going to talk about more of the anime, maybe dive into the TCG. How does that sound to you?
Hey, that sounds perfect. I know we've talked fairly frequently about Pokemon, from the anime to the games, all sorts.
Yeah.
So
it'll be a fun one.
It's time for takes.
Yeah, well, first of all, like we already we mentioned, the Pokemon anime. That's what we're going to start with today. And now the Pokemon anime is a very intriguing one for people our age, because we're 2000s kids. So I'm 2002, 2004. And I feel like for me, when I think of the Pokemon anime, it's like, I guess like the Sinnoh region, Ash, Ketchum, and Pikachu. I feel like this, when I see this, like this is Pokemon to me. When you see this, what do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely Sinnoh through Kalos, Gen 4 through 6 was definitely when I was watching the anime. I would have to watch it like every day before going to school.
Yeah.
It would be on cable, like literally it would end and then I'd go to school. And so I want to say pretty confident I've watched most of Indigo League through to the XYZ series.
Nice, there you go. Just to backpack off you, I remember being a kid and I would watch like the first half of the episode before school, and then when I'd get home, it would be like just in time for the second half. Like that's how the reruns would work. So I remember, we talked about it off air too, but like 4Kids TV, they definitely plugged Pokemon. I will say them and YTV. But when I see 4Kids TV, Pokemon is also one that comes to mind to be like, I think without 4Kids, I wouldn't really be a big Pokemon anime fan. I know for you, we talked about 4Kids off here as well. When you see this, what do you think?
I mean, with 4Kids, like obviously they helped distribute anime to like the West in the early 2000s, and they also had to deal with a lot of the censoring. So like when I think of 4Kids, I'm thinking of like the censoring they did for like Beyblade and One Piece.
Even Pokemon too.
Even Pokemon, but like I just specifically remember like they would get rid of cigarettes and turn them into lollipops.
Like it would be so jokes looking at, like, just to backpack off you, I remember as a kid I actually thought One Piece was terrible, and it was because of 4Kids. Like, not to say that like the anime sucks, but like I'd be like, okay, cool, there's Naruto and Bleach, which is really cool, let's watch One Piece, and it's like these pirates with these fake guns and like sucking on lollipops and like no eye patches, but then like you see the actual version, it's like, oh. So 4Kids definitely did a lot, and you know what, looking back, I think the censorship was good, especially for Pokemon, because I feel like we have such an innocent perspective on Pokemon, but then when you see how Japan got it, and especially in the manga as well, there's definitely a lot that 4Kids kind of saved us from.
So yeah, I don't think we even had the Porygon episode air over here.
Yeah. you know. Well, jumping though to the Sinnoh League, like you mentioned, this was one of like the main ones that 4Kids would show. And I remember seeing like I think it's Dawn, Ash, Dawn, and Brock with Piplup and Pikachu. This was like the gang back then, I would say. Like for me, this 100%. Is like the main one.
With Brock, especially like because he was there along with like Misty, even in like the earlier seasons, I like 100% like Brock was like a mainstay in the series almost as much as like Ash and Pikachu were.
Honestly,
at that point.
And I think what's cool is that, like you mentioned Misty, a lot of people like to think of Brock, Ash, and Misty. But canonically at this point, Misty's now a gym leader. So she couldn't like leave. I guess she's in Kanto, if I'm not mistaken. She couldn't leave. Yeah. So Brock was able to. He was supposed to be a gym leader. Then I think his dad went back or something like that in the canon.
Honestly, I don't remember that for the anime.
Yeah. So he was able to leave with them, and now I guess hit on all the nurse joys. That stayed consistent for Brock. But I think too, right, with that specific like part of Pokemon, I think Sinnoh, if I do recall, had 3 separate seasons as well. So there's a lot of different like subplots and like, I guess, different perspectives, openings. Now, one of the biggest plots for me is obviously Ash versus Paul. feel like just jumping into it, these guys had so much like intense moments, battles, rivalries. I'd say he is probably my favorite rival to Ash. When you see Ash and Paul, what goes on in your mind?
No, 100%. He is one of the better rivals, especially because, you know, I love just the unapologetic rival. Like, just because it's in Gen 4, comparing him to someone like Barry. You know, Barry is just happy-go-lucky and annoying. He is a rival, but you know what? Especially for the anime, it's like they shoehorned him in to be Ash's rival. Yeah. Just because, you know, whatever. But then, yes, Paul. And Paul's there, and he's kind of the GOAT of rivals. I'll give him that. Yeah. Like,
it's funny looking.
Silver, no, Paul.
It's funny because looking at this guy, you think he probably has some next menacing name, and it's just Paul. like you, I mean, you touched upon it. You had like blue, red, silver. Even at one point, I think the Gen 5's guy's name was canonically Hubert, and then just Paul. Like it's simple, but it does the job. Now, what I like too, and we'll touch upon this more later on, but when Paul was very, I guess, aggressive to his Pokemon, it gave a different perspective in the sense of like Pokemon as a whole is a very like my brother kind of said it best because we were rewatching Horizons a few months ago, and he was like, damn, Pokemon, you really just go out, you catch wild animals, fight them, put them against other animals, and hope you catch them. So like it's not like obviously on face value it's more than that, obviously. However, Paul kind of as a trainer takes that approach. If you're not a good like Pokemon, you're just getting discarded, you're getting like abandoned. He does not care. And like from some points of view, as Eldon would say, the Jedi are evil, but other points of views, I don't know if I'm like mad at that. Like we're already in such an interesting universe with their laws. Can I be mad that this guy hated terrible Pokemon?
Yeah, no, 100%. Especially like when, you know, complete duality to Ash, where he wants to be the best friend with all of his Pokemon to become the best. No, Paul, as well as like other rivals, like, oh my God, what was his name from Gen 5 there? The, I don't remember his name. Damn. But there was another rival. Or no, I don't think it was a rival. I think it was just because when Ash got his Tepig in Gen 5, like it was like a common story point that there are trainers out there that treat their Pokemon badly, and like so like kind of to put it on that with getting his Tepig. Well, because didn't he get a Pokemon from Paul?
Yes, so we'll touch upon that coming up in a bit, but that Pokemon we do have a feature for. Yes. So, but like just to even backtrack off that too, I feel like to me it kind of opened up the Pokemon world to me, made it feel a bit more real. Obviously, you know, it's an anime such as Pokemon, looking at it, how real could it be? However, you know, it made me understand that like just like in life, in Pokemon, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. And I think, you know, from some people's point of view, they like the Paul route is terrible, but hey, he just wanted to be the best and he got to like the semifinals of the tournament. Ultimately, that was his peak, but again, right, like any other method, who's to say he would have got that far?
Yeah. And kind of, I don't remember the guy's name, but it was the guy in Gen 5 that chose Snivy in the beginning.
Yes. Oh, so man, I forget
him and his relationship with Ash very similar to Paul's.
And what's funny, so you know, I mentioned how Paul got to the semifinals. That was his peak. There's another trainer in the Gen 4 series where that was not her peak. Her peak was the champion of all champions. That is Cynthia. Now, this cannot be a Pokemon episode without talking about Cynthia. Probably the most aura out of any champion. I feel like Cynthia, for every generation, she's probably like the most regarded trainer. Like I don't think anyone will tell you that she's not the best champion, especially like in the anime. Like
I know many people that opening, like in the game when you go to fight her, that opening piano riff, I know people that kind of gives nightmares too.
Yeah, like especially when you see her again in Gen 5, it's so cool because like you hear that same riff and you're like, damn, what is Cynthia doing
into
here?
A random house. Yeah, let's fight the champion.
I remember I was playing that and I like jumped. But yeah, Cynthia to me, like it was really cool seeing her in Horizons, I believe, the one where all the champions fight each other. It was cool to see her, and it was really nice still to see her in Sinnoh. I didn't get a photo, but the photo or the battle, I should say, where it's her Rayquaza mixed with the Miss Maggie's. Did you ever see that one? And there's like a purple Rayquaza. Dude,
that's awesome.
It's so random, but like what's really cool though is that only Cynthia could like kind of make that work as we try and find a photo of it. But yeah, when you see Cynthia though, is there anything more than just the anime for you, or is it also more of those games?
No, yeah, like it's aura. Like there's not a lot of champions that truly kind of just have like aura with them in the game, you know, or they're just like so one note, they're boring. Like I like, so kind of just go to Gen 5 again. Like Alder, I think he's like a pretty boring champion. But then like Professor Kukui in Gen 7, like he's got
Yeah,
aura as well.
he's pretty good. Oh, that is.
And then like you just have Cynthia coming up in her nice her black like dress coat, aura farming with her Garchomp and Milotic.
Oh,
it's
man.
it's iconic.
Yeah,
really.
Cynthia's Garchomp is one of my favorite Pokemon cards of all time. I think I lost it when I was a kid, and I don't have that, but I still have
Like
my
the level X with like Cynthia's
Yeah,
picture.
exactly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we'll touch upon it later, but Cynthia's Rayquaza was also such a prevalent part of the anime that, to me, that even carried over to the TCG, which again we'll touch upon later. But yeah, I could go on. I feel like in a funny way, we could do a whole episode on just Pokemon trainers or champions alone, and she would probably take up most of the time. But yeah, moving on though to another trainer who, I don't know about you, but like my least favorite Pokemon character of all time is this guy. That is Tobias. The number one op of my life.
Yeah.
Do you remember this guy?
Let me just pull up with a Darkrai
Yeah,
Latios casually.
I remember playing the Pokemon video games, and they would say no legendaries allowed in the tournaments. That's fine. Like, that's fair. Dude, Ash had his greatest team of all time is this Sinnoh team, in my opinion. I'm like, there is no way he loses. Faces this random. I'm like, okay, cool. What do we get? Darkrai.
Yeah, and then only when his Sceptile beats it, Latios.
Like, I didn't even bother getting the picture of Latios because I was that pressed, but like, who even is this guy? Like, you don't really ever see this guy again. To me,
No.
with like my age and being a kid watching this, he's like my most hated guy, my number one op, whatever. What are your thoughts on Tobias?
I'm gonna say, yeah, Tobias literally showed up just to mess around. Like he was there to win. Hell, he was there to aura farm. Like no one else is coming with legendaries. I'll say this though, yeah, I agree with you. That like a character in the anime, it's like, I hate this guy. Like he's such an op.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing like theories and such that he is supposed to be like the equivalent of like you, like the player of the game,
Really?
who would have like the legendaries. And while like they don't discuss that in the anime like at all,
At
there's
all,
nothing
yeah.
that would kind of hint at it. I kind of like to think about it that way.
That's
it
a good
makes
point.
me hate him a little less because it's like, yeah, no, that's me then.
The funny part about Tobias as well, because you brought up Latios, like canonically, Ash saw that same Latios like a couple years before in the movie. I don't think they touch upon it in the scene, but like I remember as a kid watching that after school, being like, okay, I'm home, I want to see who he fights next, because like I said, I'd watch it in halves. When I was watching that and I saw Latios, I was like, this has to be a troll. Like, I could not believe it. He's one of those characters that to this day, it's still like in a funny way, he still irks me when I see him.
Yeah.
But to your point, right, like if us as Pokemon trainers that played the video game, if we were in the anime, that literally would be us.
Exactly.
I'd hope. So
you got two legendaries, you got your level 96 starter, and you got your HM slave.
exactly, right? So moving on to the next anime, well, sub-anime that I want to discuss, Black and White. To me, like, oh man, when I see this, so nostalgic. This is one of my, oh man, I could just hear the theme song playing in my head. We see Cynthia make an appearance there too, but new looking Pokemon, new region. We're in Unova. We got some new trainers there too. And like, yeah, to me, this is, in terms of, like, if I can only watch one anime series, I think this would just be second to Sinnoh, but this is still one of my favorite parts of the whole anime. When you see this though, because I know you sent me an image, what's the first moment that comes to mind for you?
Dude, so like I said, immediately, like first episode, Ash coming to Unova, and I thought I had his name for a second there. Might have been like Reese. I don't know. He sees the guy that chooses Snivy, and he's like, oh yeah, hey, we gotta be best friends. We gotta battle. And then he just loses. Pikachu just loses against a starter Snivy. And it's like, oh my god. Okay, Ash is back to being useless. We got to do all of the power scaling again. He's got to get a whole new team, which, like, you know what? I like that.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I do like about all the series is that he's got to come up with a different team. Is that he's swapping them in and out of his box. You know, he doesn't just have like the set guys. And then later in the series, he ends up even bringing back like Dragonite and Charizard,
which is cool.
Like that's great. But then like it's like for a generation of Pokemon, it's just my favorite personally.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think they did the Pokemon the best. I think some of the trainers, like some of the gym leaders, I think they do that really well. Hell, Ash travels with Silent and Iris, who like in the game, well, not even in the game, in the anime, Silent he's got his two brothers. Like that's interesting. They're doing something different. Like Gen 5 to me is the generation where they were trying to do new stuff before they really started doing gimmicks, before Mega Evolution came
I'm with you on that. To me, Gen 5 is also my favorite. Like, they're my favorite games, so I will never be mad at Gen 5, like, getting picked up.
Yeah.
It was so good, and, like, watching the anime, what I really enjoyed is that, just like in the video games, kind of like what you said, for the most part, you got new Pokemon, and then towards the back end, you then saw old classics come in. And it didn't feel like you were watching, like, Ash with his old team just in Unova. It was like Ash with his Unova lifestyle with a couple hints of back in the day, which I really enjoyed. And now, moving on though to the next cool moment, and again, you provided this, and when you were describing it, I was just remembering watching this as a kid as well. So I'll let you take the lead. Who do we got coming up?
We got the GOAT, Ash's Oshawott, and there's no reason for him to be as awesome as he is, truly.
Yeah.
But more than like any of the characters, you know what? I'd argue Iris. And what was her name? The ditzy lady with the green hat.
Oh right. Bianca. Yeah, Bianca.
I'd say Bianca, Iris, and Oshawott had like the three best like character arcs.
Honestly.
You know, Oshawott, he looks awesome in the picture, but you know, if you never watched the series, you might not know that this specific Oshawott, he didn't like opening his eyes underwater, and that was a real problem when he leveled up and learned to use Aqua Jet. It would just not hit the target. It would just miss. And they set like a whole episode aside to train Oshawott and help him open his eyes underwater. And for whatever reason, I don't know why the title sticks with me, but it was called the best defense is a great offense.
Yeah, there you go.
And I loved that. It's Martin Scorsese level cinema in a Pokemon anime. I loved it.
Peak cinema, man. And to backpack off that, I as you described it to me off air, I was remembering this entire scene, and it was just so funny because like you wouldn't think that this is something that the Pokemon have to go through, like based on the video games. But then in the more anime, they're able to, I guess, expand upon training, and it makes sense, right?
They give them a personality.
Yeah, and what's cool is that like it makes you think, okay, cool. Now when I play Gen 5, if my water pulse misses, is it because my Pokemon's eyes were closed? Like, is that why? So I did really like that. And yeah, you touched upon her, but we'll bring her up now too. Iris. Now, she was one of my favorite characters, I think, in the whole Pokemon anime. A funny comp is that she kind of reminds me of Ahsoka. Like, I don't know why, but I really like Ahsoka in Star Wars, and I really liked Iris in the Pokemon anime. And what's really cool about her is that, as we see there on the left, that's her at the very start. And then in the middle, that's her as like the champion, because she eventually becomes the champion over Alder. And she's a dragon type too. Like, that's her Axew, and her Axew is like always with her. Did you like Iris more than Alder, whatever, however you say her
name?
So,
okay, truly, I didn't like Iris. Like, in the show, especially like in the early seasons, because she's just like, she was just mean. She was rude, I didn't like her. But then, she started to get more screen time. Her relationship with, I believe his name's Dryden, the other dragon type gym leader, her relationship with that, especially raising Axew into a Haxorus, getting her Dino, having her full dragon type team. In the beginning, I just did not like her. Towards the end, though, okay. She's not as rude. She's not just a lame character anymore. She's having cool fights. She's winning. She has her Excadrill, who I would say ended up stealing the show in some of those final seasons. And then, like, just to compare it to the games, her in her champion outfit, I think it's really cool looking.
Yes.
Just a well-done character for Gen 5, truly.
Yeah, I really enjoyed her, and she's such a staple because at this time, Black 2 was the first Pokemon game to get a direct sequel, so Black and White 2. So it was cool to see her as not the champion in Black 1 and White 1. Watch the anime, see her, like, I guess, progress. And then when you play Black and White 2, she's now the champion. So I liked her overall continuity and character arc, like you said. And, like, why I mentioned Ahsoka is because I feel like when I first started watching Star Wars, I also didn't like Ahsoka for some of those, like, reasons. Okay. But then just by the end of it to Ahsoka season 1, she's like one of my favorite characters in the whole franchise. So moving on though to another character from Gen 5, it's our last Gen 5 character.
Banger after banger.
I know. Before we dive into Pokemon specifics, it couldn't be a Pokemon episode, at least with me on it, and not bringing up N. Probably, in my opinion, like the greatest Pokemon character of all time. Dude,
definitely one of the most interesting.
This guy has insane lore, insane ideologies. He's so well spoken. He's so like cinema, peak cinema. When you see N, as like a huge Pokemon guy, what's the first word to describe him?
Legendary.
Oh, that was a good pull. Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna say legendary.
Yeah, he was awesome, man. I think his ideologies of people and Pokemon should coexist, it was just so cool to me, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like to say that he thought Pokemon should be more than what they were, but only humans should kind of like be less than what they are. It wasn't to say that Pokemon were mistreated, it's that humans were just too regarded.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool like take on that, right? It really makes you think, like, in that moment, he is probably the perfect Pokemon trainer from that, I feel, ideology alone. Because even when you see like Ash fight anyone, it's like you guys are putting Pokemon against each other to fight. You are not acknowledging that these creatures are on your same human level, and they're in Pokeballs all the time. But then when you look at N, he didn't really like Pokemon battling. He didn't really like having Pokemon in Pokeballs. He liked just walking and being surrounded by them. So he had such a cool concept to me, and I'm glad you also called him legendary, because that's really what he was.
Dude, like, and yeah, no, 100%. Everything you said, and like he can talk to the Pokemon.
Yeah.
He was raised by Pokemon. He can talk to them. He can understand them. Like it's a crazy thing to get as a character that they haven't even tried to replicate.
I know.
Like, N was so good. If they try and do anything even similar, people are just gonna say it's an N copy probably.
Honestly, yeah.
But like, sorry to cut you off.
No,
but
go
on. Like when I think about N, I think about the end of Black and White, right? He gets one of them. He gets one of the legendary, and then you get the other, and then. Well, where is he in Black and White 2? It said that he's just off looking for you, looking for the other half of the legendary. It's like, oh my God, this is so awesome.
I'm like shaking, man. Like it was so good.
For no reason. They had such a well-written story specifically for this game. And then kind of lastly, just to add on to just why N is that much cooler than other trainers. In the games, no matter where you fight him, he has a team of Pokemon that are completely built up of the Pokemon he found on that route. N does not have Pokeballs. He finds the Pokemon around him. He says, hey, you're my friend. You want to fight for me? And they do.
That's hard, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that was a great take from you, honestly. And like, before we move on to the next guy, just to backpack off you, that's just the beauty of it for me, right? If you were to fight this guy in real life, he'd pull up with an army, and it's like, oh wait, no, you don't have an army. You just have all 6 of your Pokemon out. But it's like, for me, it's only 1, but for you, it's 6. Why? It's like, dude, because they're creatures too, just like us. And his ideologies are just crazy there. So moving on now to more lighthearted part of it, we're just gonna go through some Pokemon. So we mentioned Sinnoh, Unova. Now let's go through some of those Pokemon from that and maybe dive into other characters as well. So first up, Infernape. Now you touched upon it. He was such a cool character in the Ash and Paul arc, because this was actually Paul's Chimchar that he just abandons, and Ash has to adopt him, make him one of his own. And in turn, to me, one of Ash's best ever Pokemon was Infernape.
No, yeah, Ash and his Infernape, they were an elite duo. Like, I remember the episode where he's going crazy and the fire out of his head just explodes when he's fighting Electivire.
So good.
Oh my God. Or even, I don't remember his name, but the one E4 member with the red, like, afro.
Oh, yeah. My God.
The Fire Gen 4
E4
member. Like, him and his Infernape. They were beefing with Ash and his Infernape.
And I don't want to say, was it Clayton maybe? Was that his name? I know I had a Pokemon card of him too.
I think it was
Clayton. Good pull from Eldon. Yeah, and Infernape also fights Moltres, which is like insane. I totally forgot about that. Thanks for that, Eldon. But yeah, insane character. Unfortunately, we're going to move on to a lesser insane character in my opinion, which is Ash's Charizard. Honestly, I hate Charizard because of the anime. What, do we share that same hatred?
I dislike Charizard for many reasons. Yeah, the anime is one of the bigger reasons.
Yeah, like, this was supposed to be the run, and this guy wants to sleep, bro. He actually sold so hard every time.
He was supposed to be the great, but I love it that he was just too high of a level for him to listen to Ash.
Like, to your point, in canon, this guy had to go to a legit Charizard trainer, not a Pokemon trainer. A Charizard trainer. So I feel like anytime I see Charizard in the TCG, I should say, I'm like, why are you the expensive one? Like, you ruined so many seasons. Like, to me, the way Charizard's hyped up is how Pikachu should be hyped up, in my opinion. Like, in the TCG world, I don't understand it. But yeah, Ash's Charizard to me is like the biggest biggest annoyance, but like you have to acknowledge him in any
Yeah.
Pokemon episode.
He had such a big impact on the series, truthfully. But then it's horrible to say that most of that impact was just throwing.
Yeah, literally throwing. Well, moving on, I'll let you take the reins. Who do we got next?
Coming up next, we got one of my favorite Pokemon, and I think might be the coolest Pokemon from Gen 5. And the whole time Ash had him on his team, from Little Sandile up to that final evolution, he was wearing the sunglasses. But the swagger of Crocodile does not stop.
Aura.
Oh my God.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is such a good pull from you. In the best way possible, I was not expecting this. When you sent me over who you wanted to talk about, I was like, I got like legendaries, like all-timers. In a good way, I was like, damn, Crocodile, bro, this is good. Like this is nice to kind of bring it more back down to say, if you know, you know. Like, you can't just like look at this and be like, oh, it must be cool. Like, dude, you had to watch this anime specifically, and I'm glad you brought this guy up.
No, exactly. Like I said, like when Ash caught his Little Sandile, before he even caught the Sandile, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he like stole the sunglasses and he's trying to get them back. He keeps the sunglasses. He evolves to a Crocodile, keeps the sunglasses on.
And I love that canonically too. Just to say what you just said, he has to have the sunglasses. Like this, when you see it, isn't just Crocodile, it's Ash's Crocodile.
It's Ash Crocodile,
which is amazing.
Like he just brings so much swagger to it.
Funny enough, to backpack off that, we have another Pokemon that is just so connected to Ash, and that is Ash's Greninja. To me, one of, if not like the best Ash Pokemon, which is this weird mega evolution called Ash Greninja, which I don't really still understand. However, it was awesome. And that's all that matters. When you see this, what do you think?
Well, I'd say currently, I think about the real mega evolution that Greninja just got with Legends ZA. Where he's just like hanging upside down.
Yeah.
Does not look as cool as Ash Greninja.
Yeah.
I got words for Ash Greninja.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's a very cool Pokemon. I think, the fact that he didn't have a legendary, or not a legendary, the fact that he didn't have a mega evolution, kind of just giving him, he has such a strong connection to Ash, so that they're able to just bond and get a pseudo evolution almost.
It was really cool.
Because like I remember thinking it was corny back in the day. Because I remember I was like almost getting too old for like Pokemon, at least in my mind.
I'm with you on that.
And I'm watching Ash and his Greninja, and he's like stronger. And it's like, no, like you don't got to do all that. Like come on. Or like when Greninja would get hurt, Ash would get hurt. It's like, okay.
No, I'm with you. Unironically, X and Y was like the last Pokemon I played and watched because I thought it was getting too old, and that just puts us into the next part, which is when we finally got Ash Greninja to finally get a get back for Ash to take on Mega Charizard, and it just kind of fell flat. I know you had a lot of words for this one too.
This irks me. It truly does. I like, most of my experience with Pokemon comes from the games, and it comes from Nuzlocke. And so I know all the typings, I know what's gonna do well, getting different move sets down, getting a strategy, and that's what I like to do. But when I see a water dark type go against a dragon flying type, oh my God, Mega Charizard Y at least retains its fire typing, he'll get super effective against the Greninja. That wouldn't make sense. Yeah. So you got to get rid of the fire typing. He's now dragon type. He's now taking reduced damage from water moves. Greninja has, I'm assuming he's got a protein ability. Whatever move he uses, that's his typing. He spams water shuriken almost the entire fight.
Yeah.
Charizard is using Dragon Claw, Thunder Punch. Like he's a damn well Pokemon.
Yeah.
He showed up and he's like, yeah, I got a move set for this guy. Charizard uses Flamethrower. I watched this fight yesterday because I had to make sure I had like the
got it down.
I needed the receipts. I needed the accounts correct. At a certain point in the fight, Charizard goes to use a Flamethrower, and do you want to know how Greninja blocks it?
How does he do it?
With Cut.
Dude, the Pokemon anime, I will say, because we were really bigging it up. I need you to say this right now. Actually makes no sense at times.
No sense at all.
And that is one of those times, man.
So yeah, we got him using Cut to block a Flamethrower.
Oh, man.
And then just final, big explosion. They're standing in the dust before one of them falters. It was like the biggest water shuriken that Greninja could muster versus like a fire blast from Charizard. I love the fire move taking out the water Pokemon because that makes a lot of sense.
That just makes no sense.
That makes no sense.
I want to quick fire these next 3 quickly before we move on
Yeah.
to the final bit. So the Indigo League. I had to bring up the Indigo League. It's the first one, if I'm not mistaken, and like you get the iconic team.
Picture's honestly
Did you watch?
crazy.
I know, it's kind of aura. I'm not gonna lie. You touched on it earlier. What is your experience with the Indigo League?
I think honestly, like my experience with the Indigo League, I think I started watching in the Indigo League.
Okay, yeah.
Like because that happened right before Sinnoh.
Yes.
And so I think this would have been like where I started watching anime. And because I weirdly enough, I feel like I have a memory of them swapping to Sinnoh and just me being like, what happened? Like I was just watching the Indigo League yesterday.
Yeah, I started with Sinnoh, and then I ended up watching this on my grandma's computer on the Pokemon website.
Nice.
Good times. Next up, Pokemon Origins. Now, do you know anything about Pokemon Origins? Because if not, I'm not gonna spoil this.
I was gonna say I know of it because I know
Okay.
it's the like the protagonist from the games.
Yeah.
But no, truly, I haven't. I've seen like certain like fighting clips, but I haven't watched it.
Okay, in a genuine way, I actually think you'd love this. We're gonna go straight to the movies. So,
Okay.
the movies. One thing about the films that I really liked is how consistent these were. I have seen everything up to Volcanion. So with that being said, I love these. I feel like I could do a whole episode on just the films alone. Do you have any standouts here?
Yeah. I never watched a lot of the Pokemon movies. I just because I feel like I kind of got into Pokemon like later.
Boo.
Hey. But no, I watched the Pokemon Black and White movie when it was on
Yes.
Netflix.
Oh, this guy
when it was
knows.
there, that's when I was kind of getting exposed to a lot of Pokemon. And I watched it up until up until the Volcanion movie as well.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
The Hoopa Clash of the Ages was crazy. All the
Yeah.
legendaries fighting. Like,
Yeah,
that was
we
a
love that
great
one. Yeah, Eldon loves that one. I love that one. My brothers. Like, that one is so peak.
Oh, that one. Yeah, no, it's peak. I remember the Swords of Justice movie.
Mm-hmm.
That one was pretty cool. No, oh, boo from Eldon.
Oh.
And then I just remember Ash dying in the Diancie, Yveltal, and Xerneas movie.
Yeah, for me, my standouts, Pokemon Forever, just the ending is amazing. Arceus, the Jewel of Life, peak film. I really like the Zoroark. I just love all the black and white ones. I'm just going to say that now, but the Kyurem Keldeo one is so good. The Genesect one, and then obviously Hoopa. But yeah, specifically the films, we could do a whole episode on. But because I don't want to delay it, and I do want to talk about the TCG before we wrap it up, you sent me this, and I was like, wow, this is a blast from the past. So tell me more about what this means to you coming up.
So I want to say like 6 years ago, my dad just sold all my Pokemon cards. Like I you know what? To my credit, I wasn't touching them. I gave him the go ahead, you know. And looking back, I wish I had saved them. I knew of cards that I had that are worth money now that maybe I could have gotten something out of, or B, just cool cards that I had. And regardless, I had this Team Plasma Deoxys tin as a kid, and it was
so
one
cool.
of my favorite tins. I would carry all my Pokemon cards in it. I'd go to school, it'd be packed to the brim. And then, horrible story, I think I'm in grade 2 or 3. I'm at school with my Pokemon cards, and some guy just full sprints into me, slams me into the wall. I drop everything, and then I get mobbed by 10 dudes, and they just grab all my Pokemon cards. I had to rebuild my collection from then on, but it was horrible. And it was this tin that it happened in.
Dude, I wow, man, that's I'm not even trying to farm or clip farm here. That's actually terrible. Wow, I'm actually really sorry that happened to you. I don't know if I could recover.
It was
from
a
that.
rough time. I don't even want to think about how many cards I had in there.
So let's move on then. So we got a couple cards to go over before we wrap it up. My first one I wanted to bring up was Rayquaza Level X with Cynthia in there. This is my favorite Pokemon card of all time. I still have this in my deck. This to me is Pokemon. This is such a peak card, peak design, and it's amazing. Going now to yours, we have none other than, the aforementioned, but a little different version of Crocodile. Let's see it.
Slightly different, but my favorite version, the shiny Crocodile. It's it's not a full art. It's just one of my favorite Pokemon. He's shiny. He looks good. And I remember I wanted this card so badly. I traded a full art Mega Aggron for it. I just loved shiny Crocodile, man. He's so cool.
Yeah, that is peak. Now moving on to my next one. I don't know what that is, but We got, well, no, your next one actually. Zekrom EX, so cool. This one of my favorite cards of all time.
Just thinking about cards, I was like, what's the coolest one I can think of? Zekrom EX. For like the lightning around it, him popping out of it, like, oh, it's such a cool one.
Yeah, and not to outdo you here, but I do have this one in my collection. I did have to take a step up, but I have Zekrom and Reshiram tag team with the head on the front. This is the coolest card of all time. I could actually say I have this card. It's worth like $400 something right now. One of my favorite cards of all time. And when I saw this for the first time, I was like, this is why I'm getting back into the TCG. This is so peak. It's such like, I could go on about this card for days, but we don't have time for that. So as we wrap it up, I just want to say to you, Carson, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me on.
It's been fun, like talking about nonsense on our screens. Is that what we're calling this? You know what?
Yeah, I like to chat about the things happening on my screen. So, you know, how nonsensical they may or not be.
Yeah. So again, man, just thank you so much. It's so cool for me to finally talk about Pokemon, but I also love that it's finally with you just because I feel like we had this podcast off air for the past 2 years.
Yeah, we've had this podcast exactly like 3 separate days.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, as we wrap it up, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Shout out to all the boys on the FPL chat that do watch. I'm going to send this to you guys and appreciate you all. Even you, EJR, even if you think that Rice should win the Ballon d'Or, that is criminal. Shout out to MP. I low-key wore Ferrari and my hair down just for you. So there you go. And Carson again, shout out to you. So please, everybody, enjoy one of your final FNF Fridays of the year. We don't have a lot more of these, so please enjoy that. And yeah, Carson, man, hopefully someday we could chat about what's on our screens again.
Yeah,
hopefully sometime
maybe
soon.
It won't be nonsensical.
Ooh, you never know. But thank you guys so much, and shout out to Eldon and Megan behind the scenes for teching. Really appreciate you guys. And you guys have a great one. I've been Justin, this has been Carson, and this has been Screen Chat live from the Media Hub on riotradio.ca.